Mine, like, I have just fallen in love with this book. And we actually get to meet Ralph. So for those of you that are interested in coming to Laramie, Tia, you have those dates right in front of you.
I do.
Ralph what?
Ralph Fletcher.
Fletcher.
He's actually our keynote speaker at the Fall Literacy Conference, which is a free conference in Laramie from September 23rd to the 24th.
So he just really gets us thinking differently about the writing of nonfiction and how so many times it's easy for us as teachers to fall into that formulaic trap or that robotic trap of having kids write their thesis statement and their first detail and their supporting details underneath and their second. And he just gives us a whole different way of thinking about it and having students write about their passions, and that sometimes there is a place and time for that organization, and there's also a place for them to really bring in their creative side too with writing. So we're just going to pull a lesson right out of this book today, and it's from chapter, if those of you that were with me this morning, we did chapter 9, and this one's chapter 10, just called the Power of Primary Sources. So I'm just going to take you through an activity much like he would do in a classroom, and we'll just experience it together and then talk about it. So to begin our session today, if you could just think about a 24-hour period in your life, just kind of like a snapshot in your life, 24 hours. I'm going to just turn some music on and give you a couple of minutes. See how many events you can get written down that you tend to do over a 24-hour period. Have fun. share a few of those events that you tend to do or that you captured over a 24-hour period, just with someone close by you. What did you capture?
Shutting off the alarm. Or you always cereal, less food, open lots of space.
So you went really specific,
Yeah, I was
step by
pretty,
step.
yeah, I was trying to do that.
Very cool.
That's what I used to do. Let the dogs out, make breakfast, drive to work, teach all day, drive home, let the dogs out, feed them again, make dinner.
Thank you. That's perfect.
And then get my other kids bed and dressed. I done it all the time, so.
So now you have a handout in front of you, if you could grab that. Now let's think about the primary sources or the pieces of evidence that you leave behind. It's kind of a funny thought, but let's say that we're 100 years from now. What might historians dig up about us? What are some of those pieces of evidence or primary sources that we might leave behind? And then just kind of roll through these questions. I'll give you a couple minutes on your own. So basically the first one says, which of your activities were most likely to leave behind trace evidence? So for me, if they were to dig things up, they'd probably find some Diet Dr. Pepper cans, or what are some of those trace evidence pieces? And then what might be preserved? What might a historian overlook, or what might be left out? Again, for me, I don't care for pictures, so I'm always stepping out of the picture. And now I think, my poor kids, they're never going to think I was at any event. They'll be like, where was Mom? So just kind of think through these questions on your own and answer some of those questions. some of the thoughts that you were having about some of the evidences of your own life and what you're leaving behind or not leaving behind. So just turn in chat. Okay.
Okay. What?
I don't know, I was having trouble. The only thing I could think of is you like get down to the trash and the garbage, like what you ate and consumed.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
But then, as a teacher, you're helping your students learn and
You might have records of that.
their accomplishments and
Or
grades.
journalings. Yeah. So for me, I put down pressed flowers, cultural journal, used paints, partial pieces of pastels, paintings, poems, stories, papers, notations on seed packages, notebooks on herbs, gardening, health, rock climbing, maps with notations, photos of adventures, letters to the editor, published art or writing, T-shirts, art or designs. So those are kind of my evidence that would show something.
Like my grandparents, grandma made quilts and things.
Oh yeah,
Those are great.
that's a good reputation. Well, I mean, because went digital for so long.
Right.
But then what might be left out, I put personal thoughts that have not been recorded on recording sessions. Kind of touch on that when you publish, like I've written letters to the editor, or written on topics or subjects that I feel are important, always. Sometimes I'm all.
That's just like the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so I'm for this, or I'm against this, or I like that, or I don't like that, but what about all the other stuff that I think about that I don't really like?
Doesn't tell the whole story.
Yeah, I don't think gives you the picture.
Yeah. I was thinking like when they do archaeological digs in Greece or Rome, or they go through trash pits and things,
Right.
and they try to make determinations of cultures through what they find. It's just limited
That's
to
gotta.
bones and
Yeah, whatever
tools and
is hot and not affected by weather could be found, and
there's a lot that's not
unless it's
preserved.
sealed in an airtight container or something.
It doesn't give an accurate picture of who that
The newer
person
one
was.
has a guide as well.
Yeah.
Another one I thought of was genealogy. Is that what? So, I guess I put down what would you describe be able to tell about your life, that I was an active person touched by past, present, and future issues.
So any out loud shares from anyone in the group, things that your partner said or you said, what are your thoughts on? It's kind of weird to think about what we might leave behind as those primary sources, but what did you think about? What did you talk about?
I think when you're studying cultures like the Greeks and the Romans, they dig through the trash pits, and so you find remnants of food and bones and tools, but does that really give you a picture of who they were and what they thought and what they felt? The limited transfer.
Absolutely. Very good thinking. Thank you.
So I wrote down they would find pressed flowers, cultural journals, used paints, partial pieces of pastels, paintings, poems, stories, papers, notations on seed packages, on herbs, gardening, health, rock climbing notebooks, maps with notations, photos of adventures, genealogy, letters to the editor, published art or writing, T-shirts with art or designs.
Sounds like you lead an interesting life. Thank you. Let's jump down to the one that talks about what are some advantages or disadvantages? What are some limitations? Do you think anything might be misincluded? Or I guess it kind of goes back to what Charles was already saying. Any thoughts on what are some things you talked about there?
I'd say a big, limitation is that, I don't think I'm that special. So it's kind of like you with photographs. You're just like, oh, right now, don't take a picture of me. It's not going to be that big of a deal when down the road they're,
she was never anything.
Was she a real person? But also, what is seen is good, but I think there's just a lot more that you can't
the tip of the iceberg. It's not everything I thought or why I felt that way. So like you said, it's like, how are they going to get into that?
So let's try it out. Let's pretend that we just found this picture. We were rummaging through some old things. And I'm sorry, if I blow it up, then it's pixelated. So you'll just kind of, can you see that well enough to at least get it just a bit? So, what do you notice? What do you think about this? Any questions, thoughts, interpretations? We just found this picture. Oh, you think it's ice? Okay.
I was probably thinking ice comes to the cold room.
Yeah.
So
Looks
it
like
gets time
a,
period before refrigeration.
yeah, like the
It gets iced.
1930s, 20s.
Look at what great
It
historians
looks like
we
they
are.
have a wagon wheel or buggy wheel there. It's not looking like, or if it's a vehicle, it's a very archaic vehicle, like old vehicle compared to what we have now.
Must have been,
Turn
it's not like
century,
winter
probably.
time because they're not wearing
Ooh. And who are they?
I would say siblings that were supposed to go on the wagon.
It does look like maybe they're related, possibly.
They both have the female?
I can't
What do
really
you
tell.
think?
Both have,
I'm kind of
What,
do
Charles,
they call
Charles,
those?
what'd you say?
I think they look like females.
Females.
They both have what do they call those
Overalls?
farmers overalls?
Overalls. So if they're females, why are they doing the hard labor?
could be a time of war with all the men and everything.
That's a good point.
Or Japan era. They don't have any. How did they do option labor? Or have them up?
There's somebody watching in the background. Kind of, I see a foot way back in the background there.
So here's our next primary source. Not related. We're historians. We've just found this.
Oh no. Don't get it too close.
Would you like to sit over here? What do you notice? What do you think? Who does it belong to?
Hiking boot
Hiking boots.
of a tall person.
Of a tall person.
Tall, shabby.
A big person.
Big.
Like an adult.
Adult.
Those are not inside shoes because of the mud.
A hunter because
Something happened there because there's a tear or rip in the shoe.
Ooh, some type of event, you think?
Yes, perhaps.
Yeah.
You said a hunter?
yeah, tear up your shoes going through the timber.
Could be a
Steel
it
toe.
could be a mountaineer type person.
They're steel toe, it looks
Well, why do they have a hole in the front of their shoe?
It looks like the laces are new, but the shoe is old.
Oh, good.
So like they're taking care of, they like the shoes enough to where they replace laces.
Because it's like, I mean, we got
Oh.
splits.
You know what I
Must be
mean?
very
Like-
good shoes.
Yeah.
So they feel like
So look at that, like that's.
they feel like the sole is still good enough
Still good. Yeah.
Yeah.
to wear.
Did they replace the shoelaces? Or have you ever thought about that? Okay, sorry.
You look fairly decent.
Like,
Usually the plastic ends have fallen off.
yeah. You know,
One
like,
side's really short too. The shoelaces.
Like,
Oh,
yeah.
maybe-
Awkward.
Wonder if that's an indicator of the age of the.
So in what you do, whether you're a teacher or a substitute, however you work with writing and with students, what are some primary sources, some raw, untouched materials that you think you could possibly bring in to have kids work with? What do you think? What are some other ideas? We had a photograph, we had an actual
It could be
item.
like a video.
A video.
You could bring an Audubon bird that's been stuffed or animal that you
Some
can
type
see right up close and personal.
It's a great idea. Any others?
I would think for older kids, it would be interesting to see like their Snapchats, because now you can, on Snapchat, you can make memories or you can save your stories or something like that. And just have them just think about because you had
What was
talked
going on in
yeah,
the
what was going on, because you had talked about like what evidence you would have and like that digital footprint, that digital, what will people think? Because like with the selfies, I always think, what are my grandkids gonna think of so ridiculous.
Oh my
You know what I
God.
mean?
Yeah.
Like those kind of things.
It almost makes me embarrassed.
Yeah, right.
Please don't look at those.
Yeah.
Well, so somebody asked me, they said, you gotta get in this picture, it's a selfie. And they're, all four of us, we had gone, mine looking for gold and fanning and stuff. So we're all like, oh, that's the only selfie I've ever taken. It was goofy. But you wonder what people will think. Like,
Sure.
what in the world? Well, we should do
But
this.
some great ideas. Maps might be another one.
Uh-huh.
Bones.
Or just even artifacts. So, like,
Oh.
cause, I mean, nowadays, even like a cassette player, what is this thing?
Yes.
And half the kids are gonna be like, I don't know.
I didn't even think about that. I went to a library sale and my boy loves Hank the Cow Dog. I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but they were all cassettes and I brought him home to him and I was so excited and I gave it to him and he opened it and he giggled and he looked at me and he said, "What is it?" What am I supposed to do with this?
Well, another thing that might be like a game or something like that, because different games are played at different times.
And tell more about the culture. That's a
Might
great
tell
one.
about the culture. Like some of the wacky questions that are asked in some of the games.
So I believe that our time is up, but hopefully just these few activities of thinking of your own life, thinking of the evidence you're leaving behind, and then thinking about what primary sources can we bring in for students to first give them ideas to write about. I think even that picture could have been a writing activity in itself, or the shoe could have been a writing activity in itself. And then also having them incorporate primary sources into their nonfiction writing and pulling them in. So there's really two uses. Yes.
I was just gonna ask if you were gonna talk about the quote exactly what I love it.
Oh, let's end with that. Thank you. I forgot all about
One
it.
real quick thing, those shadow boxes where they oftentimes put a person's military uniform and something about their hobby they had and a photo of this and a photo of that. I mean, that could be really interesting. And then you could have that person come in. I mean, they could write about what they saw and then the person could come and tell about it.
It'd be an awesome activity. Thank you. So to close out today, as I was looking on the internet and just kind of searching the definition of primary sources, what are primary sources, I came across this quote from a doctor, and he said, "We gather artifacts of our lives and put them on display where we can routinely encounter their potency. Photos, diplomas, letters of commendation, or knickknacks commemorating that special trip. They are our rear view mirror. They bring us back to joy or pathos or desire. They keep